I'm not just some winner. I'm the queen of the mother tucking world. So I'm gonna have to pull up my knickers and do whatever I can to make the world a better place. It's nice to be on TV. It's nice to travel the world and be on stage. But if you're not doing anything that's meaningful with this opportunity, then it's not worth it. And I'm really going to put a lot of effort into that. I'm going to keep learning because I'm still flawed, and I'm willing to continue to learn and better myself. And then hopefully that will lead to me helping the world. World peace.
Hello, I am Joey Nolfi for Entertainment Weekly, and I am here today with Belfast's finest, the queen who blossomed from Northern Ireland to a global stage with enough power to have her neighboring royal, Elizabeth II, shaking in a corner inside Buckingham Palace. Please welcome the first ever crowned queen of the world of RuPaul's Drag Race UK versus the world, Miss Blu Hydrangea. Congratulations on winning. I just feel like I have joined some sort of royal bloodline in Europe just by talking to you right now. So thank you for being here. How did you spend last night celebrating?
Oh my gosh. So the episode goes up on BBC iPlayer at 9. And I skipped right to the end, sat beside my mum and my boyfriend, and we watched the crowning. And then, once I knew that I had won, I slipped down to my local bar where I started drag and slipped in the back and watched them all react. It was incredible. The atmosphere was amazing. And because I already knew that I had won, my butthole wasn't clenched so tightly, you know.
Yes, absolutely. I would expect nothing less. Now, I did have my eye on you from the start because when I first interviewed Jujubee and Mo at the start of the season, they said to watch out for you as the surprising, fun shade queen of the season. And on the show, they deemed you the horniest and the shadiest. So what were you doing on that set to earn you those titles?
I think I was just thirsting over Pangina like the rest of the world was, you know, like anytime she'd do anything, I would just be like, my little penis would just go ding. It's just you know, you're stuck in quarantine for 10 days and then you're shoved in a workroom. And this time, unfortunately, we didn't have a brick crew, so there was nothing to like let steam off on. So that was Pangina for me.
Yeah, blame it all on Pangina. Now, as the bearer of those titles, Miss Blu, what is the funniest shady thing that you can reveal about this season that we don't know?
Oh my goodness, right. So this is the shadiest, funniest moment that I had on the set. And it was the day we went to film Snatch Game. Jimbo had just been eliminated and it was breakfast time early in the morning, and Jimbo came out to get their Rice Krispies or whatever it was, their little cereal breakfast, and looked at me dead in the eye and went, "You better win Snatch Game and you better send Pangina home." And I thought nothing of it. I went, that's never going to happen. And that's exactly what happened. Oh, mommy.
Jimbo started a campaign against Pangina?
Yeah. The Curse of Jimbo, I'm calling it. It's a working title. We're going to make a movie.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that it was like a cast-wide thing, this like campaign against Pangina. We were going to get to that later, but I didn't realize that Jimbo had like planted the seed.
I mean, probably just a little bit bitter that Jimbo had been sent home by Pangina. And you're locked back in your hotel room, so I imagine that he had a lot of time to think about how much he hated that bitch.
It was, speaking of Snatch Game, I mean, it was great to see you come so far from UK season 1. Snatch Game blew a lot of people away. You doing 2 characters, first as Austin Powers and then switching midway to Dr. Evil. So how the hell did you have time to like flawlessly apply a bald cap between Snatch Game questions that quickly?
So it was a very quick change. I would say maybe about 10 seconds, maybe less. I could do it right before your eyes now if I was in the costumes. I had the bald cap on underneath the Austin Powers wig, so I just whacked off the wig. I wiped my teeth a little bit where I had added like the dirt, and then took off the outfit, which was all in one, and then had the Dr. Evil underneath it. It was very easy, and it was the reason that I was so nervous after my walkthrough with Rue, because I really wanted to leave it as a gag. And when Rue heard that I was doing Austin Powers, she was not amused. She was like, we've seen it before. But I was ready to gag them, and I think I did. It was my Baga really slayed the Snatch Game, so that was my little thing that I knew that I had up my sleeve that would hopefully clinch me the win over her.
So was it a surprise that you were going to change into Dr. Evil? Did you tell anybody that you were going to do that?
Well, they probably saw me applying the bald cap, but at that point, Rue had told me to do every character under the sun except Austin Powers, so I imagine that they were probably like, Blue's just having a breakdown over there and making herself bald. Like, we don't know. We don't know what's going on over in that corner. We'll just let her, do her thing. But yeah, it was something that I had up my sleeve. There's a drag queen over here called Olympia Avalanche who's on YouTube, and she does character illusions. And I asked her to help me write some jokes, and honestly, it wouldn't have gone down as well without her. She's been really good help for me.
Now, we have heard some stories of queens hearing reactions from their Snatch Game celebrities. Did you hear from Mike Myers at all?
No, I'd only hear from him if he was trying to give me a cease and desist, to be honest, because I'm sure I'm going to take that Austin Powers gig and milk it on the road. Absolutely, you will see me. World domination, baby. I'm going to, yeah, absolutely. So he'll probably be like, I can't have this Northern Irish twink coming for my gig.
I hope the word twink is in Mike Myers' vocabulary now because of you, yes. No, no, this season was, it was so wild, partly because of Snatch Game. That was one of the best Snatch Games between you and Baga. It was just so good. But also, the eliminations were just so wild this season. Between Pangina sending Jimbo home and then you sending Pangina home, it had people talking. And you said that Pangina was your inspiration and also your biggest competition. You told her you didn't think that you would be able to pick her, but you couldn't say it wasn't tempting, which wasn't a promise that you weren't going to send her home. So how quickly did you come to that decision to send her home? Was your mind made up before you went into that conversation with her, or did something happen in or after that conversation that made you pick her?
The thing is about the whole situation was that I knew that I just felt that Pangina was not playing the game as fairly as possible, as a judge may should have been playing the game, so I kind of, as soon as I knew that everyone else was in the bottom, I had her name pretty high up on the list, I'm not gonna lie. One thing about me though that I think is the big difference between the first season that I've been on and this one is that I wouldn't make those kind of choices. I wouldn't make those kind of risks, and I would always be thinking about someone else's feelings. And I was worried that Pangina would be feel like she was letting everyone down, and that I would get backlash for it. I was almost worried about everything else but myself in that situation when I was talking to her. But whenever I got up to that box to pick the lipstick, I felt like I would regret the decision, and I owe it to myself to think for me about me for once in my life. And I thought, this is a great way to not be overlooked by the judges anymore. I know I just won that week, but I felt like throughout the competition I've been in really, really well and deserved to be in the top more often. But there was always just someone that had their eye a little bit more. So I was ready to make the focus myself. And look, it worked out. So no regrets.
No. Yeah, it was clearly the right decision for you in that moment. And you did look very gooped when you heard her sort of weeping backstage after the elimination. And you suggested in the next episode that you regretted it in that specific moment. So did you try to maybe change it in the moment when you saw that reaction? And do you still regret it, or do you sit comfortably in that you made the right choice?
Yeah, I made the right decision. I don't regret it in the slightest. I think my reaction was based on her reaction, basically. Normally on All Stars, they go, well, Rue, it's been great. Sure, maybe I'll do Jujubee and I'll see you the next time, But I think she just had so much weight on her shoulders. She was a judge. She was representing for Thailand, and her culture is very much that it's a big honor to represent for your country. So I can imagine in that moment how heartbreaking that would be. And I was heartbroken for her because it wasn't a malicious decision. It was a strategic decision, and I loved her, and it was sad to see someone that I loved be so upset. So that was where the little chin wiggle came from, but no regrets. I absolutely would do it again tomorrow if I had to.
And you are both fine now. The relationship is fine between you.
Oh, absolutely. We send texts all the time. We've sent nudes. I do think that one week where it had just aired, I did feel like the outside forces were almost caving in on us a little bit, and it wasn't that there was any animosity, or it was more like awkwardness because it was like there's so much hate being thrown around both ways. What like it just didn't feel like the same relationship that we'd had before. But we've talked since. It's fabulous, and you know what? Like I can't wait to give her the biggest hug or blowjob, whatever she wants,
One of the two, yes,
or
one of the
both.
two. No, speaking or both at the same time, yes. Speaking of controversial eliminations, I mean, Jimbo is, you know, both being called iconic and taking a lot of heat today for the
Mm.
moment that she was like, I wanted to talk about how shitty Pangina's outfit was, but I'm not going to. So, how did that moment go over in the room when she said it to Pangina? And do you think if the tables were turned and it was Pangina saying that about Jimbo, that the response might be different?
Well, I had seen Jimbo's original season, so we've all seen the Rita Baga. Have you seen it? The your thirsty dry Golden Girls wig, that lace front is so disgusting. All that, which was camp. I think that was more fun. This was fueled by uh, bitterness, maybe, or just like it wasn't a fun thing to be a part of. I think there could have been a funnier joke. There could have been a funnier punchline. I absolutely, totally. If this had been the other way around, it would have Pangina would have been getting so much heat because it would become a race thing. And one thing that I've definitely been noticing recently, obviously, it has been going on for years. People of color getting so much hate on Drag Race just for being there, being themselves, saying things that a white person would get away with, and getting so much flack for it. It's just absolutely disgusting. And I think if you're going to be a fan of Drag Race, you need to amplify voices and not send hate. You need to be speaking out for people of color. You need to be amplifying the voices of trans people and people that don't have this platform. And if you're not doing that, then you're not a fan of drag, because drag is rooted in people of color and trans people. And if you're sending hate or racist comments, it's just absolutely not what drag's about.
Very important that you say that. I always love when I hear queens saying that on this platform. I think that it's so important, and I hope that you continue speaking that.
True.
And one of the things I also, speaking of the origins of drag and gender, one of the things I admired about you this season was that you opened up about questioning your gender on the journey that you've had with it. You did it very candidly and very openly. So has the response that you've gotten from fans since opening up about that on this platform given you any maybe new clarity or inspiration on that journey for yourself?
It's been amazing. The amount of people that have messaged me and said such positive things has been so lovely, because it was truly in that moment I didn't expect to have that conversation, and I was still figuring out a lot about myself, and it really was just my verbal diarrhea. It was me talking about how I felt candidly, and you know, it was emotional and something that I'm still learning about. And I think people like Bimini and Ginny had their episode had just aired where they talked about being non-binary, and I was like, wow, I really relate to that. And I had recently before had a seminar. I went to a seminar about how gender and sexuality was a spectrum, and I was like, that is so true. Who is someone to tell me that gender is one thing or another? It's everything. Like it's like it could be anything that you want it to be, and whatever category you fit into. I've spent so much time with Drag Race and trying to ride the wave on Blue that for the past year since that we filmed this, I kind of spent a lot of time on Josh. I grew a mullet. I lost some weight. I wore funky clothes. Like I'm trying to express myself in whatever way I want, and it's been very freeing. And I'm glad that I had that time to spend some time on Josh, because really without Josh, Blue would be nothing. So you need both sides, but you need to just look after yourself.
No, I love that you had time to focus on that as well. Because, yes, I think it's important. Sometimes people forget watching these shows that you are not and have never been characters. These are just you're artists with people underneath. So I think it's so important to feed that side of yourself as well. Now, the last thing I want to ask you is you were also open on the show about, I think it was really poignant what you said in your finale speech, where you said that you could represent an entire community or you could just represent one kid who is hiding under the covers in bed watching on a laptop RuPaul's Drag Race and hiding it from their parents, which you said is an experience that you related to. So I'm wondering how you would like to use this title or how you think you can use this platform to maybe keep expanding and pushing for more equality and acceptance, especially given everything that is, in particular going on in the United States right now with anti-trans bills and the Don't Say Gay bill. Like, what do you think you can want to do with this title and platform to make for a better community?
Well, I think that's like a job of just drag queens in general. I think like we are like the epicenter of queer communities. We go to the prides, we're on the stages. What we need to do is amplify these voices that need to be heard. Donate to charities. I'm willing to share my stage with whoever has a voice that needs to be heard. Do you know what I mean? I'm not just I'm not just some winner. I'm the queen of the mother tucking world, so I'm gonna have to pull up my knickers and do whatever I can to make the world a better place. And I know that sounds so silly, probably coming from a man in a wig, or sorry, a non-binary person in a wig, but the reality is that this can do so much for so many people, and it's nice to be on TV. It's nice to travel the world and be on stage. But if you're not doing anything that's meaningful with this opportunity, then it's not worth it. And I'm really going to put a lot of effort into that. I'm going to keep learning because I'm still flawed, and I'm willing to continue to learn and better myself. And then hopefully that will lead to me helping the world. World peace.
Very beautifully. Yeah. We go. We can only hope, Blue, with you leading the way now as the latest winner of this franchise. I think that will be so amazing to see what you do. I wish you the best of luck, and thank you so much for your time and being here and talking about this all with me today. It has been a wonderful season, and congratulations.
Thank you, Joey. I love being here, and you know what? You are an incredible person. I watch all your interviews, and you know how to wrangle some drag race queens, baby.
Thank you, Blue. I will take that with me and wear it proudly, that title. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.